of today. So, welcome, welcome. This is a full house and I love it. Happy New Year to you all and hope everyone had a great holiday season. I miss seeing you guys over the holidays. But God, this is an awesome turnout. So, must have everything to do with Bill. So, but thank you for being here and taking time out of your day. To start our meeting, I'm going to read our antitrust statement. The Greensboro Regional Realtors Association is a not-for-profit trade association devoted to improving the business conditions of the real estate industry in our region. GRA meetings and events often include real estate professionals and other industry stakeholders who compete with each other or work for competing businesses. GRA is committed to conducting all meetings and events in a professional, ethical, and lawful manner, including in adherence to all antitrust laws. To that end, the topics for this meeting will focus on advancing the interests of real estate professionals and consumers of real estate services. The interest, this is the first time I've messed it up. It's time for me to head out. Increasing competition, reducing risk for all parties involved in real estate transactions, and sharing insights on business best practices. The following discussion topics are always prohibited: agreements to fix prices, limit product or service offerings, allocate geographical territory or customers, and refuse to deal. Any discussion inconsistent with this policy will not be tolerated. I think the font is getting smaller. It has nothing to do with me turning 50, but it's got to be what it is. So I'm going to officially call this meeting to order. I'm Mary Beth Powell, your 2025 GRA president. One last time. I get to park in that spot one last time, then I got to be on time. So that's the part I'm going to miss the most. We want to give a big thank you to Brooke Michael with Elite Home Inspections, who not just today, she's our sponsor for lunch today, but she's probably one of our biggest supporters throughout the year. So thank you, Brooke, from all of us. I don't even know where you are, but I know you're here. There you are. We came in struggling together as usual. So I am first going to welcome all of our guests. You know I love all the rest of you, but I want to acknowledge our special guests that we have today. First, we have NC State Senator for District 26, Phil Berger. We have NC House Representative for District 59, Alan Branson. NC House Representative for District 57, Tracy Clark. NC House Representative for District 58, Amos Quick. And of course, our Mayor of Greensboro, Mary Kay Abuzuaiter. We have our City Council Representative, District 5, Tammy Thurm. And we're glad to have Nancy Vaughn, former Mayor of Greensboro, NC. I don't see Skip here. Is he here? Okay. Thanks, Skip. Sandra O'Connor, 2001 GRA President and our own infamous in-house current Commissioner with the NC REC. I know I saw Sandra. There she is. We're lucky to have her all the time. So, John Hardister, President of Triad Real Estate and Building Industry Coalition. There he is. Marshall Morgan, who is our 2026 President with the High Point Regional Association. Kathy Cottle, our 2026 President for Winston-Salem Regional Association of Realtors. And Miss Amanda Hobbs, the CEO of the Winston-Salem Regional Association of Realtors. Thank you all for being here. It makes us feel even more special today, so we appreciate your time and your dedication to our association. Now I'm going to fight? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? I am going to invite up. I would never fight Kathy. I love her. Kathy Carpenter, I'm sorry. Where are you? I need a vacation. What is going on? I would never fight you.
Welcome, everybody. Our cares and concerns for this month. We extend our deepest sympathy for the family of Jolene Lanier. Her service is going to be held on January the 17th inside the parlor room at the Starmount Forest Country Club, and from 3 to 4:30. So the family wanted to invite everybody to attend that could. And our inspiration today, I want you to do something kind of different. I want you to close your eyes, everybody. And I just want you to think back over the holidays, whether it was Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, and think about your family and how thankful you were to have them. And think about the home that you were in, the home where all your treasured memories are and all the happiness. And then think about what you do as a realtor. You sell those homes, but it's not just selling those homes. You create an environment and a place where other families can have that happiness. So if you're having a down day one day, just think about all the good that you do for families in creating happiness and home and that meal around the table, and we'll all be thankful. Thank you very much. So if you'll please stand for our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I guess I'm going to put my glasses on. I need to pull it together here. Next, I would like to introduce our speaker, Mary Kay. She was first elected as an at-large council member in 2011. She has served the city of Greensboro for over a decade. I can't see y'all. Her transition into public service was driven by 22 years of experience as a local small business owner. Mahi's, which I loved. Oh my God, I missed that place. Mahi's Restaurant. She is a graduate of Greensboro College and has completed both the city and police citizens academies. Mary Kay's platform focuses on balancing economic growth with community well-being, specifically economic development, attracting high-paying jobs, and supporting small businesses. Within housing and infrastructure, increasing affordable housing and improving transportation systems. Within public safety, supporting local law enforcement and emergency services. Leadership and community involvement, she's held extensive leadership roles across various boards, notably serving as the chair of the Metropolitan Planning Organization and the Piedmont Authority for Regional Transportation. Member of committees focused on human rights, sustainability, and the Family Justice Center. She's also been a liaison to community groups like Crime Stoppers, Casa Azul, and the Kiwanis Club. Kiwanis Club. Dear Lord, bless my heart. I have never said Kiwanis in my entire life. Good Lord. I'm sorry. The Kiwanis. Anyway, Bill, you got to come in hot. Mary Kay is a resident of Greensboro for over 40 years. She lives with her husband, Isa, and her rescue dog, Bella. She is a passionate advocate for the city's parks, trails, and recent economic growth, describing Greensboro as the best place in the state to live, work, and play. We are honored to have you. Thank you.
Well, Mary Beth, any nervousness I had just went out the window, because if I make a mistake, it's going to be just fine. So thank you for that wonderful introduction. And, since you messed up a little bit here and there, I know that everyone will be gracious when I do, and you're allowed to laugh if I do. So just wanted to say that. I have been on the city council since 2011. But prior to that, I was very involved in the city, and I learned so much. And, Mary Beth mentioned the Little Citizens Police Academy. I recommend everyone take that. You learn so much about what our officers do every day. And the City Academy gave me a good basis for wanting to know and learn more about my city. So way back in the 90s and the early 2000s, I was still full-time at the restaurant. But I was becoming more and more interested in what the city does because they affected my home and my business every single day. And I think that is very, very important, and that is one reason that I became so involved. And yes, I'm kind of the crazy one who started going to city council meetings. I know Mayor Vaughn probably saw me there, when she was there early on, and I was fascinated about all of the things the city council does legislatively to keep the city moving forward. So becoming interested in that, and I had one advisor say, don't ever mention this, but I always mention it because I think that it shows perseverance, because I lost twice. I lost in 2007 by 100 votes. I lost in 2009 because that is when the city annexed the Cardinal, and the person there beat me by 400 votes. So I was going to stay out, right? I didn't want to be 3 strikes, you're out. So that's just not something you want to live with. But, I did run, and luckily I was elected to office, and I've enjoyed every single minute of it. I was still working full-time. City council is a part-time job, right? So I was able to, the loop was coming through where the restaurant was, so it was time, and I was like, what am I going to do now? And I thought, well, I've got city council, I've got, good people on there, and what can we do to move the city forward? So we've all been working all of these years, many times 40, 50, 60 hours a week, because we want Greensboro to be successful. We want to be able to brag all over the nation about how wonderful Greensboro is. And I truly believe, as former Mayor Vaughn, she's been great guiding me and mentoring me. And my colleagues, Tammy helps me too. You'll be fine, don't get nervous. And, things like that just make it worthwhile. So the biggest question I get right now since I've taken over, how are the new council members doing? That's what I hear 4, 5, 6 times a day. I want to tell you, their energy and their passion is something I need to market, because they do have that. And I've got a lot of energy, and I'm going 90 miles a minute, but they have a lot, and they want to focus on things that make Greensboro better. They've had orientation sessions with each department. They are learning the legalities, the ins and outs, what they can do, what they can't do, how they are to treat staff, how they are to function as a representative of the people, 306,000 people, not just 20 or 30 people. So they are learning. I'm learning with them on how they like to do things, because there's 9 different personalities, and if you think that you are going to work and move things forward, you also, and I'm speaking of, need to evolve and figure out the best way that they like to receive information, or the best way that I can help guide them or mentor them, or let them know that I have the knowledge that I want to share with them. Those things are important. So let's talk a little bit about the things that are important to everyone. Besides that question, the next question I get is about crime. So luckily, Chief just had a big data template prepared showing us our crime is down 23%. And I want to give Tammy Thurm some kudos, because 2-3 years ago, when we were working on strategic plans and what we want to see, one of her goals was to reduce crime by 20-25%. So we are getting there. Now, does that mean that we're not going to have any homicides? No, that happens because people pull out guns instead of fists. Does that mean that we're not going to have any break-ins? No. All of these things are in any city that you go to.
We just want to make sure that our police department has enough relationships with the community that we can help prevent those things. Among Crime Stoppers, we are all about prevention. Also, we want to know if you know where the criminal is, let us know. We'll give you some money. But, all of those things, and it works. It works, and we've got a great initiative coming up. It's called GSO CAN. And that initiative is being led by IVG, and that initiative is going to bring in more community, more stakeholders, and it's through our community and Office of Community Safety within the city, so it will be guided by the city guidelines. And that, to me, is what is very important. So public safety. Then we want to talk about infrastructure. Infrastructure, so important right now. We've got to make sure with all of these companies wanting to come to Greensboro, they're knocking on our door. Everybody in this room knows it. We want to make sure that we have whatever they need. I am so big about regionalism. Being chair of the Piedmont Authority for Regional Transportation. I'm chair of the MPO-TAC, which is regional. I'm going to be incoming chair for the Piedmont Triad Regional Council, and that is what used to be the COG. So all of these experiences help me understand and believe how important regionalism is, because we not only need to worry about regionalism for transit, regionalism for roads, regionalism for other things. We also need to think in our infrastructure about regional supplies of water and sewer. This is the only way we are going to be able to grow and welcome in those companies, because we can have everything as long as we all work together. And that's one thing I'll touch on very briefly. We need to destroy the silos, because if we don't, we are not going to have the growth that we are experiencing right now. With the urban loop, we've opened up thousands of acres. Now, how long did that take? 60 years. But I'm so thankful. My TAC, my Transportation Committee on the MPO, we are the ones who absolutely did one of the final votes in order to accept the federal and state grants to finish that. If it had not been finished, I don't think all these companies would have come. I really don't. I'm not saying that they would not have come, but I'm saying it would have been delayed several years, and we don't need that again. So I think the biggest thing for me to talk about in this room, of course, is real estate. Real estate, building, all of the above. So I just looked. So as of 12 noon today, our city managers rode to 10,000. I know you've heard about that. And I want to say something quickly about that. That is not meaning that once we reach that goal, we're going to stop. But we've never had a goal like that before to reach, that has had everyone in the city manager, his offices, planning, zoning, all of those on board with, let's reach this. And I know that the community is excited about it too, because once we reach that, and I guarantee we're going to reach it far quicker than anticipated, because I just checked on the dashboard, it's on the city website, 2,610 units, whether it's houses, multifamily, or duplexes, things like that. 2,610 are either completed or in progress. And I think that's something that we should be proud of, because we are getting there very quickly. And after we reach the 10,000, we can go to 20,000. We can go to whatever we need. Affordable housing, of course, we hear about that all the time. We like to call it attainable housing, because what might be attainable for you might not be attainable for the next person. So attainable housing. There are a lot of programs for the ship. Between a faith community, builders, financiers, and the city. So what can the city do? Okay, for things like that, we can help a little bit with the infrastructure. And that's what we need to do more of, but we've got to have more partnerships. We've got to. whether it's LIHTC financing or what type of financing it might be. And we also need, for those experiencing being unhoused, we also need those supportive ones. I know that my colleagues are working on permanent supportive housing. We don't want to see people on the streets. We don't want people to be out in the cold. However, that's got to be collaborations too. The city does not get monies for that. That is more so in your county. But we understand they are in the city, and we want to do whatever we can to help. We do get some funding from HUD for housing. That flows along, and those grants are given out. Right now, we just had an email from a lady who is almost going to have to live in her car with her 3 children. So I've reached out. I've reached out to the county, and a couple of the commissioners there are going to try to work on it, because this is real. People are really suffering in many cases. Talking about what can the city do to help with our real estate market. We have already relaxed many of the permits and the building permits, but what I want to see is more information from the builders, from the realtors. What would help you? And my door is open all the time, and I'm hoping we can set up some committee meetings, working with John Hardister some, because we want to make sure that it is easier for builders to gain those permits so that we can move along faster. But I will say, on the Yanceyville place, that builder came up to us and said that Greensboro is one of the easiest places to get development going. Now, I hear different things in the community. And we all know that was a perfect time for the laugh, because, I hear that our system is just so antiquated and old, and then I hear this over here. So I'm trying to filter through. And I've got to be able to filter through with people who are knowledgeable in the field to let me know. So all of those things, I think my time may be getting close. So maybe I'll just stop there. I think I went over everything. Oh, transit, very quickly. I'll move back up to that. Transit, Greensboro is doing a lot with GTA and changing the routes, because that's been an issue. People getting to jobs, people getting home. But one thing that I'm excited about, and the Piedmont Authority for Regional Transportation, we as well are doing this. There's going to be some micro-transit. Micro-transit is like your ride share, but it'll only cost $1.50 or $2. And right now we have pilot programs. So Partboard, we have one going out near the airport. The city of Greensboro has one going in an area in Greensboro, and I'm sorry I can't remember exactly where that is. But those are pilot programs, because we're trying to figure out, you've heard a lot of people talk about the last mile, getting home, all of those things. So that would help a lot with that. On transit, we're also working on bringing the bus routes over the last 2 years. That's been done. We've got Purple Max and Orange Max. One's going east-west, one's going north-south. And it's just very exciting to see, everybody's kind of coming together to see all of these things. But I thank my previous councils, my previous mayor, because this did not happen overnight. All of the things I have spoken about have taken 10, 15 years. All of the companies coming. So, they are the ones who deserve the kudos. Of course, collectively, we were all together. But, you have to understand that it does take time. And you want to make sure it's right. And I think by the evidence that people are wanting to come to Greensboro, which, very quickly, will help small businesses as well. They are very excited, because the big businesses spawn the smaller businesses. And that's always been one of my goals. So thank you all so much, and I will definitely take some questions if anyone has one. Oh, don't tell me I covered everything. I know I didn't. I've got one. Yay. Kevin. Taxes. I want to be the mayor who says that nothing is going to be raised, none of our taxes. I am worried personally too about the reevaluation. I've seen things like 48%. I am honestly absolutely terrified, because if that's the way it is, I mean, many of us are going to have major difficulties paying our taxes, and I would be one of those right along there. So yes, I'm hoping. I think as that comes closer, I would suggest speaking to the ones who are doing the reevaluations. Yes, we could adjust taxes. I understand that. Now, I will say very quickly, I do want people to understand that as your expenses in your home have risen, the expenses in the city have also risen exponentially. So I do want to have that moment of grace, please. So thank you all so much.
Thank you so much for your leadership. I know we are all excited as an association to follow you during your term. And thank you for everything you've done leading up into this point and what you plan to do in the future. We will be donating a book to Hunter Elementary in your honor. So thank you. And thank you for being here. A few of the upcoming events, I'm not going to go through them verbatim, but we have new realtor orientation. We still have full classes every time. And we have the committees and cocktails this week, and we have lots of CE coming up. So if you guys will check the hub or check with us so I don't have to run through the entire list, that will be great. Or grab me after the meeting, and I'll be glad to go over the specific dates, and we'll help you get registered. We have an RCA meeting coming up as well. And then it will be February, our first Tuesday. We'll be back here again. So obviously it's time for me to give my final words so everybody can rest, and maybe I can get this off my chest. This flower touches me one more time. All right, let's do this. So I told myself I was not going to overthink this, which if you know me at all means I absolutely did just that. But I didn't want this to sound rehearsed or ceremonial, because this year hasn't really been about that. It's been about the people, and it's been about the work. Years ago, when I first ran for the board of directors, I gave a speech I still remember. I said something about everything I really needed to know I learned in kindergarten. Be kind, do your part, listen, play well with others, and clean up after yourself. And it turns out, after all these years, that advice still holds up. And I calculated how many years, and it's a lot of years once you get to this point. But anyway, here we are. Maybe that's why I said Kiwanis, I don't know. But the idea that stuck with me then and has followed me through every role that I've had here is simple. Leave things better than where I found them. Not perfect, just better. And that's what I've tried to do. I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity to serve as your president. Thank you for trusting me, especially in a year that required patience and collaboration and willingness to figure things out as we went. And I've never taken that responsibility lightly. One thing I believe deeply is that nothing meaningful happens by accident. The right people tend to show up just at the right time, and when they do, progress follows. And this year has proven that. Progress doesn't just happen in silos. It happens when people from different counties, different markets, and very different perspectives come together and actually work in unison. When we all do that well, every part of this association benefits from that. I want to take a moment to recognize our GRA staff, because I genuinely could not have done it without any of them, especially Barbara, Peter, and Aiden, along with the entire team who keep everything moving, grounded, and on track in ways that most people never see. Then there's Mike. Mike is the constant. His knowledge and memory of this association are a perfect storm, somewhere between impressive and slightly alarming, and somehow he manages to adapt to every president's leadership style along the way, which, given this group, including myself, deserves its own certification. This year, he learned how I operate, adjusted accordingly, and occasionally bit his tongue, all in the interest of keeping things moving and helping me lead effectively. He's increased my step count on every trip. He's taught me more about the Philadelphia Eagles than I ever thought I wanted to know. and he still requires me to translate for the general public whenever he says water. Mike, thank you for your steadiness, your patience, and your commitment to this association. This year simply would not have worked without you. And to our board, this is where I get a little selfish. You are some of my favorite people. What is wrong with me? Leading alongside of you has been one of the most joyful parts of the year. Friendships, our trust in each other, and our shared sense of humor made this group feel easy, even when the work was not. We laughed a lot, probably inappropriately, and somehow we still got everything done every single time. That combination matters to me more than I can explain, because my favorite kind of leadership is the kind where people feel comfortable being themselves, where humor builds connection, and where the work gets done not in spite of that, but because of it. The board showed up fully, supported one another, and brought heart and results to the table, and that's not accidental. That's culture, and that's something I will always be proud of. Bill, John, Scott, Marvette, Mike, Chris, James, Karen, Jerry, Mark, Jenna, Hillary, Jackie, Philip, and Crystal, thank you. Last night gave me the chance to reflect on something I don't always slow down enough to appreciate. The influence of those who've led before us kind of goes back to what Mayor Kay was talking about. You can't take the credit for this year because it's been 10 to 20 years in the making. And I would be, I never want to forget that part of it. We don't get to take the glamour because there's so much work that gets put in before we get to this point. Has nothing to do with me. Listening to the past presidents speak reminded me that leadership isn't something you arrive at all at once. It's shaped over time. By watching how others lead, by borrowing what fits, by learning what doesn't, and by figuring out who you are in the process. Along the way, I've learned when to listen longer, when to pause, when to speak clearly, and when to trust my instincts. I've learned how to handle hard conversations, how to stand firm when it matters, and how to stay grounded when the responsibility feels too heavy. Being surrounded by that kind of leadership feels like an unfair advantage at our association, but it would be crazy not to lean into it and learn from all of them. And that's what makes this association what it is. GRA has long been what I've called the third place. Not home, not work, but the place where we belong. A place shaped by our staff, board members, past presidents, and our community leaders who care deeply about this profession and the people it serves. I carry a little piece of all of you with me. How you lead, how you listen, how you decide, how you show up. The collective influence has shaped me into the leader I am today. Somewhere along the way this year, I came across a quote that finally put the words to the balance I've been trying to practice. Sometimes imperfectly, obviously, but intentionally. Never be so kind that you forget to be clever, and never be so clever that you forget to be kind. For me, that's meant keeping kindness at the forefront, while also knowing when to use my voice, to say things that need to be said, to stand up for our members, our clients, and our industry when it matters. It's meant balancing my famous instinct to jump in quickly with the thoughtfulness to pause, so my words land with clarity and not just speed. One of the greatest gifts this year has been my buddy leading alongside Bill Warmoth. Bill has been a steady, protective presence, the kind of leader who looks ahead at where we're going, but always looks back to make sure everyone is good along the way. His support showed up consistently and quietly through check-ins, perspective, and a calm confidence that said, we've got this. We've shared a deep sense of responsibility for this association and the people it serves. Bill leads with integrity, clarity, and heart, and he has a way of seeing potential and calling it forward. He's been one of my biggest supporters this year, and if I can be even half of what he thinks I am, then I'm doing just fine. This association is in very good hands, and I will be his biggest fan in the room every single time. As I step out of the role, I do so grateful for the trust, the relationships, and the work that we've done together. There's one thing I hope that defines this year, that we led with heart and intention. I can't even see anymore. God, I put on mascara. That's why I never put on mascara. We led with heart and intention. We spoke up when it mattered, and we left this association stronger, more connected, and better than we found it. Thank you. What makes me cry, I'm not wearing mascara anymore. I'm not going to cry anymore, and I'm going to get all my words right. Okay. I'm done. Thank y'all. I'm going to get that afterglow, right, Nancy? That just... Okay. Mike, I don't even know what page I'm on anymore. Hang on. I'm sure Mary Kay's supposed to do something important. Please, Mary Kay, please, God, come help me. And Katie and Bill. I couldn't even look at you. Let me just regroup for a second and those are out of order. It's all out of order and par for the course with me. Here is Bill's. And here is for all of us, our oath. Yes. I'm sorry, and thank y'all. Back on track. I got it, y'all. Okay. Back on track. Katie and Bill.
Katie and Bill, I'm supposed to invite you up to the podium for something very special, I do believe. And Katie, you will be the witness. Are we ready for this? All right, here we go. And I try to do it this way, so I'm sorry I'm far away from you, but that's the way it's going to be. Bill, as president of a prominent organization in your community, you are accepting leadership, which is of the utmost importance. During the coming year, you will be identified as the official representative of the Greensboro Regional Realtors Association, not only by everyone in the community, but by the members of the association and by all of the businessmen and women in your community. You must therefore conduct yourself accordingly. Whatever you do, whatever you say, will impact not only your reputation, but also the reputation of the association. During your year of leadership, you will develop and enjoy many new and lasting friendships. You will experience the personal satisfaction that comes only through giving unselfish service to others. There will be times when others may not understand why you are going in the direction you are going. This is one of the many challenges you will face. Learn how better to listen to what they say rather than how they say it. Be patient and kind to those who disagree with you, and lavish praise on those who support you. If you do these things, the rewards will be great. You will experience a new secret of living that comes only to those who practice the art of giving. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly and sincerely promise and commit that you will serve as the president of the Greensboro Regional Realtors Association to the best of your ability and judgment, and that you will do so in conformity with the Constitution and bylaws of the Greensboro Regional Realtors Association, and that you will uphold and support the North Carolina Real Estate Commission in its enforcement of the license of law, and that you will uphold and support the North Carolina Association of Realtors, and that you will do all these things under the guiding principle of the Realtors Code of Ethics, which is, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you so subscribe, answer by saying, I do. By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I do hereby proclaim you the president of the Greensboro Regional Realtors Association. Congratulations.
congratulations, Bill. If we can go ahead and have all of our past presidents come forward. Who wants to start the gavel? We're all going to share words of wisdom for Bill. He needs them, right? All of them he can get.
This is an example of type A leadership.
Well, Bill, I always used to find my place standing next to you, but here we are again, and what's old is new again. We've had your leadership before, and so much has transpired since then. We have all changed, and we all have to honor change in others. So I honor the growth and the path that you've taken. I know that obvious from the attendance in this room that you have the faith and trust of everybody here. And we can't wait to share your vision and see where you're taking us and look forward with you. So congratulations. And I don't know, some of you had advice from Alec Wren in the past, but the advice he gave me was that this is just the beginning.
Stepping into your second term, Bill, which we'll call Bill Warmoth 2.0. This is going on. Hell, I can't read. It's too small. Then I wrote the damn thing. Any event, the second time around will be, I'm sure, as thoughtful and more impactful than even the first time around. I followed you as president then and admired you. Now I probably will not be following you again, so I could just admire you from afar.
Bill, with you at the helm, we know we will be strong, stable, and experienced leadership. I do think it was appropriate Mary Kay had Katie come up. Perhaps Sean should have come too to make sure that you really do stay in line. But I would just say thank you, my friend, for stepping up again.
Bill, I think that, as I said last night, your commitment the first time was invaluable to our association, but to step up a second time shows the commitment you have to our industry, which is at a time when we really do need that leadership, and I look forward to following you along the way.
Bill, we've kind of been doing this together for a very long time. You bring to this association wisdom, guidance, a great sense of humor, and an incredible voice. And I'm just going to encourage you to always use that amazing voice that you have as being the voice of reason at every opportunity. We're going to need it. Thank you.
Bill, thanks for doing it again. You don't look any different than you did in 2002. Have a great year.
So one of the beautiful things, Bill, is speaking after a bunch of great people who had wonderful things to say and steal everything. I will give the quote that the advice that Alec Wren gave, and that is to always make sure and check your fly before you go on stage. It's important advice, and I have used it from the day I was installed. Proven to be helpful. Bill, second time around, you are going to do an amazing job. I can't wait for your voice to change, and that great deep voice that comes out. That again, the voice of reason. Looking forward to seeing what you can do this second time around.
Thank you, Bob.
Well, we needed to put another guy in because look at the long list of women.
No, I am so amazed because I know what a tough year it is, and for you to step up and do it again, my hat's off to you. You were a great leader the last time. You've been a great leader in between for all kinds of things, and I look forward to doing anything you need me to do next year with you.
Hi, Bill. I said this before that I looked up the Warmoth surname, and the description came as protective spirit. Apparently that tracks to you and Katie both, maybe Sean as well, but I know you're going to look out for us, and I look forward to Bill Warmoth Chapter 2.0 at GRRA.
Hey, Bill, congratulations. We are certainly the lucky ones to have you lead us again. I think Kevin and I are the two most recently that have done it for two first, and I'm excited about your year. You're just going to be amazing. Your leadership skills, like they've said, and your calm demeanor, just get us through the rough times, and we need that. Thank you very much.
Hey, Bill. After getting to work with you for about 20 years at Keller Williams now, watch your leadership there. I'm really excited to see what you bring to the association here, your honesty, your strong ability, and I can't wait to see what you have to do for us.
Bill, you have all of the qualities of a great leader. You are kind, you are patient, you are direct, you are a great listener, and we are all so fortunate that you are in this role once again. We are looking forward to the next year, and I truly believe that every president here, their leadership style has been exactly what we needed for that particular year. And I feel very strongly that that is the case again. So we are just so excited for 2026, and thank you.
Bill, I'll take full credit for you standing here today. You're welcome. I happen to have the kind of relationship with Bill where after he checks with Katie, he never tells me no. And I kind of felt like we would need somebody like you to come back in, and the second time around is going to be even better. You've got my support. Again, like Diana said, your name means protector, and I know you will protect us and look out for us, so I'm happy to work with you, and I'm happy you said yes.
Bill, passing the gavel is not just a tradition, it's a promise. It's a promise of leadership, integrity, and service, and you embody all those traits and more. Here's to a great 2026.
I think I've said enough. But I will quote actually the famous Bill Warmoth, and he said something like this. He said, the best way to win a tug of war is to pull on the same side of the rope. And I can tell you, with 2,000 plus of us behind you, I don't know who's going to go up against us. So we're a powerful force, and we're all behind you.
Thank you all very much. Did do this 24 years ago. One thing has changed. I have to wear damn glasses now to see anything. We would like to have the Executive Committee and Board of Directors come up. President-elect John Newman. Immediate past President Mary Beth Powell. Treasurer Scott Thompson. Assistant Treasurer Wayne Young, and Directors William Stephen Allen, Chris Caton, Ellen Tao, Jenna McKenzie, Hillary Meredith, Jackie Mosley, Lindy Pope, Julie Powers, representing the RCA, Philip Stone and Crystal Williams.
You are on the board, Bill. There we go. So I have the honor of administering the oath to you. Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly and sincerely promise and affirm that you will administer the office to which you have been elected to the best of your ability and judgment, and in conformity with the Constitution and bylaws of your board, and that you will observe and enforce the Code of Ethics and the North Carolina Real Estate License Laws, and that you will uphold and support the North Carolina Association of Realtors Incorporated and the National Association of Realtors, and that you will, in all your acts, be governed by the principles of honesty, justice, and fair play, and in every manner possible endeavor to promote and safeguard the best interests of our state, the private property rights of its owners, the high purposes of your association, and the welfare of its membership. Do you so subscribe? Wonderful. You may now lower your hand, and by the virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I do hereby proclaim you to be duly and officially installed into the office to which you have been elected. Congratulations. Thank you all.
As Mary Beth said earlier, and I've had the privilege of sitting as the president-elect over the last year with the previous board of directors, and I'm going to tell you, it is an amazing group. It's just an amazing group. And I will tell you, under Mary Beth's leadership and that board, a lot of great things were done and put into motion this year. So let's thank those people that are on their way out. I don't know if they are happy about that or sad, but we're going to identify those, and I think Mary Beth is going to, hand them plaques. Our outgoing immediate past president is Marvette Artis. John Newman, treasurer. Mike Carter, RCA director. James Davis, director. Karen Foster, director. Jerry Holland, RCRC director. Philip Stone, director. And Mark Mann, if he is here. I don't know that he's here today. parting remarks in just a moment. But I want to tell you what an exceptional leader we've had this year. And it is my privilege to present you with several things. The keys to a new car. Kidding. Actually, we do have a beautiful plaque in thanks of your leadership in the last year. And we do have a gift for you. And we also have a book titled Mary Beth Powell 2025 President. That is a wonderful photo array of your past year. I'd like to introduce Brooke Michael, who is our sponsor today. If she is here, I think she would like to make a couple comments, and I know we want to hear it.
Congratulations, everyone. I was glad to be a sponsor for this one today. I put a few things on the tables. I didn't put one for everyone, but you get a kind of a gist of what my company's about. Through the brochure, it gives a list of all of the services that we offer, as well as a definition of them on the back, because we know buyers listen to every word you say the first time, and they don't need reminding. The second thing is a checklist. It's 25 items that are the most common that are found on almost every home inspection report. Great for listing packets for sellers who do these 25 things before the homeowner the home buyer gets the inspection done. This will save you about 3 pages on the home inspection report. So if you would like any of these PDF, if you don't see them or whatever on the table, just hit me up. All my contact information's on there. And just going along with this today, we did not collect any business cards, so we get to have a fun game on who wins this. And, okay, stand up if your birthday's in January. Okay, let's narrow this down. Stand up or sit down if you are within, or not within, 5 days of today. 5 days, so that'd be January 1st to January 11th. Okay, who's that leave to? Okay, who is closest to today? What's your birthday? 13th? Wish the words? That's the winner.
A few closing remarks. I should be done in 30 to 40 minutes. I am kidding. First of all, I'd like to tell you what an honor it is to have our leadership from the city and the state. This is a phenomenal turnout, and it really, to me, is indicative of the caliber leadership that North Carolina puts forth. And so I'm honored to have you here, and I appreciate your time out of your busy schedules. 24 years ago, I stood at this podium as the incoming 2002 incoming president. I now feel comfortable telling you that I was absolutely terrified. It's a little intimidating to know, as Mary Kay mentioned, that for the next 12 months, I was to be the face and voice of one of the most prestigious realtor associations in the country, and it is in the country. That is the feeling I remember the most about that day. Today, that couldn't be farther from how I feel. Some of that is a few added years of experience, but mostly it is because of the realization that I'm really only tapping into a legacy that's created by those that came before me. Mary Beth made reference to it. The leadership in this association is phenomenal. And I tell you, when we go to state and national meetings, they know who we are, and they know who our leadership is, and they know who our staff is. Those are the people for the last 105 years. They've done all the heavy lifting. Not that we're on cruise control. but it certainly does make a gravel road paved and smooth for us to get things done as expediently and efficiently as we possibly can. Part of that leadership preceding me was Mary Beth. She's been an amazing leader. She's inched the bar higher for all of us that follow her. Thanks. But as we begin 2026, North Carolina remains at the forefront of the national housing conversation. We're entering a year of recovery and reset, characterized by a shift towards a more balanced market, with mortgage rates stabilizing around 6% and inventory rising up to 9% nationally and even higher in some segments of North Carolina. We're finally seeing the thaw we've worked for the last 3 years. Our strategic plan continues to guide us with four clear pillars. Advocacy, we are aggressively pushing to workforce housing production and eliminating barriers to availability and attainability. The level of professionalism, it's catchy, blah, blah, blah. The level of professionalism, we continue to lead the way in transparent agent compensation and ethical conduct, keeping our members ahead of the curve. Our innovation, we are equipping you with AI-driven tools and data-driven insights to navigate a market where negotiating power is tilting back towards buyers, and AI marketing provides endless horizons and possibilities. Excuse me. Also, to Mary Kay's point, regionalism. The triad is growing exponentially in economic growth, population, business opportunities, and education. And I'd be remiss in my comments if I didn't acknowledge Marshall Morgan and Kathy Cottle here from High Point and Winston. They will be my fellow presidents next year. We went out the other night, had dinner and a cold beer, and I've never enjoyed an evening more, nor have I felt more on the same page with two leaders that I think want all the same that we all want. So in 26, let's commit to two things: being better problem solvers for our clients and being committed to this association. I appreciate your dedication to the industry and to the communities we serve across the great state. Lastly, on a personal note, two personal notes. I'm a Greensboro native. I may be one of only three in this room that actually were born in Moses Grown Hospital, but I'm really proud of this city. I live here, I work here, I have family here, I've raised my kids here. It is an exceptional community. I'm very thankful for where we live and for our leadership. Lastly, but not least importantly, I want to thank my wife. Lots of phone calls, and thank God she's a realtor. She understands mostly. But she has stood beside me through all of this, and it's just been an exceptional ride, and I look forward to what's left and your extended patience. For the rest of my family that is here, my lovely daughter and son-in-law, my good friends that are here, my wife from work, who is Sean Tucker, and the leadership from Keller Williams, of which I'm also equally proud. I thank you all. I look forward to an exceptional year. My phone is always on. I might answer most of the time, but I look forward to hearing from you, and I do welcome feedback. And I think you're going to find that's going to be true of everybody on our board this year. We have a lot of doers that we're going to be working with this year. Thank you all. Thank you. One of my favorite things to say is, this meeting is adjourned.